Metacafe first launched in kind of that wave of video sharing sites like Dailymotion and YouTube. Is that what Metacafe still is, or how has it evolved?
Yeah, I think the whole industry has evolved tremendously since back then, 5 years ago, when we opened our offices here in the U.S. Yeah, YouTube's changed, we've changed, Dailymotion's changed, and I think the big shift for us has been how do you, the video sharing platform that is YouTube is well established now, right? That's well known and it's accepted in the marketplace. Now I think the evolution is around how do you define yourself on top of that platform, right? Where there's going to be video sharing happening, but can you define something more meaningful for the audiences, more meaningful for the advertisers? And when we launched M.E.N, which we did about 6 months ago, the Metacafe Entertainment Network, it was all about defining that vertical. Now we're speaking to a young male audience exclusively, and we're focused on entertainment content. So video games, movies, action sports, things of that nature, and that's really where we think the market is evolving. And you see this in television as well, right? You see that the broadcast networks were covering all kinds of content for all audiences, and now you have cable networks that really speak to how we consume entertainment today, and it's HBO for premium original shows, it's the Food Network for food content, CNN and all the other news networks for news. The verticals really define the way we consume entertainment. We see that very much the case now, and that's what M.E.N's all about when we launched it.
So how do you compete with Break? Because Break is the company that comes to mind when I think of an online video network aiming for men, and then also who is in that audience network, other publishers.
Yeah, so I think Break in many ways is the older generation in the sense, right? It started 5 years ago. So it's partially video, but it's a lot of display as well. I think the biggest distinction is that we are exclusively video. That's what we are. Because our roots are Metacafe, the video sharing platform. M.E.N is how do you use video as the only way that the exclusive way that you talk about the entertainment that's happening today for that younger male generation. So that's the biggest difference. We're obviously a little bit more entertainment focused. It's all about premium content. So we're very premium in the way what we offer. The movie content, the video game content, the action sports is all very premium, and a little bit less of the how do you call it? Sort of like the stupid guy tricks type of stuff. We just stay away from that, and we think that's it's a different niche, which is important when you're defining a cable offering or vertical offering. It's also much more appealing for advertisers, and we think for the audience as well.
Can you give a couple examples of content providers or the type of content that you're drawing from to feed that?
Yeah, the most it's natural, right? Most of what we do is from the movie studios. We are obviously getting the full set of trailers. We're getting a lot of access to exclusive content from behind the scenes, special interviews. We also do original programming ourselves. So we will actually go onto the junket with a comedian that we commission and goes out there and talks on the junket and does a funny show. It's called Unfiltered, and it really shows how we can do something that's a little bit different and original and gives us more control over the vertical that we're defining. So the same thing for video games, the same thing for action sports. We're going and getting events that you can't get anywhere else.
And who are some of the advertisers you're working with?
So we're always talking to the top 500 brands, and it can be obviously what we call endemic advertisers, which are going to be the movie studios themselves, the video game publishers, even television. Or TuneIn Television is a big advertiser these days in our network. We also, it can be consumer brands as well, and obviously consumer brands that are targeting the young male audience, which can range from an automobile company to a deodorant company or something of that nature.
And a final question on this topic. What can you tell us about numbers? What sort of audiences are you drawing? And even though it just launched in September, is it growing?
Yeah, so the big shift also, there was two big shifts, right, when we went to M.E.N. One was defining a vertical by audience and by content, but the second part was that we're taking what we do or the content that we both produce but also curate and license. We take that and we just syndicate it out to our network. So what's happened is that where Metacafe has been traditionally around a 10 million uniques destination site, we now speak to 33 million uniques throughout our network, and we take our content and our advertising and distribute it push it out through that whole network of 33 million uniques.
Okay, hold on, pause for 1 second. You don't have to pause the video. Let's do that, and you'll just have to edit that part. And tell us quickly, who are some of the other publishers in your network that you're able to sell inventory
so typically in the network, what we're doing is, since it is all about the vertical, is we're looking to partner with publishers that speak to the vertical. So we work with a number of leading gaming sites, we work with a number of leading movie sites, entertainment sites in general, can be TV, that type of thing. And those are the types of companies that we have in our network.